Madam Speaker, and I am pleased to rise in the House today to speak in support of the motion put forward by the New Democratic Party. The Conservative Party stands with the NDP to call on the Prime Minister to waive solicitor-client privilege and to urge the government to launch a public inquiry to provide Canadians with transparency and accountability with respect to allegations of interference in the prosecution of SNC-Lavalin, including the security of persons, contract and property rights, and certain core human rights. Open government, the process by which the laws are enacted, administered, and enforced, are accessible, fair, and efficient, and accessible and impartial dispute resolution. Justice is delivered timely by competent, ethical, and independent representatives and neutrals who are accessible, have adequate resources, and reflect the makeup of the communities they serve. Any member of a police force, and myself as a former chief of police, understand how the rule of law dictates your daily life. This continues to be something I aim to uphold as a member of Parliament. It is important in our rules as politicians to uphold these core principles of the rule of law, as they must be upheld for any democracy to function. Last week, the Liberal Party blocked all attempts of accountability at the Justice Committee meeting. There was an opportunity to be open and transparent on the SNC-Lavalin Affair. Instead, the Liberal members at committee, I must say they were the majority, they attempted to cover up and block the search for the truth on this affair. Opposition MPs worked together to come up with a reasonable witness list with 3 key individuals. The Liberal Party offered up their own watered-down motion that excluded key witnesses and called for a closed-door meeting with no media present or transcripts provided. Though the Liberal members hold a majority on the Justice Committee, they did have an opportunity with the motion they put forward to make an amendment and not hold the consideration and selection of witnesses in secret this week. Though it may be a tradition that those deliberations be done in camera, there was an opportunity in these exceptional circumstances to avoid the perception that there is something to hide. And I must say, Madam Speaker, earlier today, one of the Liberal members publicly posted a tweet that she was going to ask the former Attorney General to speak, not done in private, but certainly in public. As we speak, this meeting is happening. However, the Canadian people will be unable to see or read what transpired. This is not open and transparent government that Canadians were promised during the last election. The Prime Minister tried to assure Canadians that nothing unethical took place, citing that the former Attorney General's presence in Cabinet would speak for herself. And lo and behold, the former Attorney General resigned, making it crystal clear the Prime Minister is trying to hide from the truth in regards to the SNC-Lavalin affair. It is clear the Liberal Party have no interest in finding out the truth. The former Attorney General has once again been denied an opportunity to speak, and to top it off, yesterday one of the Prime Minister's closest and most trusted political advisors resigned from office. This resignation is the clearest indication yet that there is much more to this SNC-Lavalin affair than we know. The events that have transpired in the last several days are not actions of someone with nothing to hide. This resignation does not settle this matter. Instead, it only presents more questions that must be answered. Canadians are rightly concerned about this issue, and we want to make sure that Canadians understand what has happened. My office has been flooded with emails and phone calls from Canadians across the country. They're concerned about this issue. My staff have received calls and emails from Canadians, not constituents of mine, but Canadians across the country who have been unable to reach their Liberal MPs' offices. We're hearing from frustrated Canadians expressing their disbelief on how the government is covering up this affair. One email reads, "Something is still going on in Justice Committee. All I am asking is to have Justice Committee follow the rules, do the job, to respect the rule of law, to fix this serious problem for this country." Madam Speaker, there have been troubling allegations with respect to possible interference by the Prime Minister's office in the criminal prosecution of SNC-Lavalin. There have been inconsistencies with the response from the Liberal Party. This is not a government that shows Canadians it is under control. This is a government in total chaos, and it raises critical questions of ethics and conduct from the highest ranking office in this country. The Conservative Party supports the NDP motion to call on the Prime Minister to waive solicitor-client privilege and urged the government to launch a public inquiry. In 2015, the Liberal Party promised transparency and accountability during the election campaign. Today, we call on the Liberal Party to uphold that election promise. Canadians are rightly concerned about the allegations of political interference in a criminal prosecution. Canadians expect the truth, and we have the power here to make sure that they get it. The Prime Minister, the Prime Minister refuses to waive solicitor-client privilege, as Prime Ministers before him have done when the public demands it. This would allow the former Attorney General to speak, to tell her story, but the Prime Minister has kept her silent. This story has been unfolding in a bizarre way, with almost daily changes to Prime Minister's versions of events, high-profile resignations, and coordinated cover-up maneuvering, suggesting this is not an ordinary political scandal. Madam Speaker, I am proud to stand with my colleagues today, support this motion, urging the Prime Minister to waive privilege and launch a full public inquiry. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Questions and comments? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary of the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. And interesting comments the member across the way expressed, and I can't help but reflect on whether it's that member or other members of the New Democratic Party that have really lost confidence, it would appear, in terms of the independence of the Commissioner of Ethics, and really concerned in regards to just the Standing Committee and the procedures that I have witnessed over the last number of years. We even actually have a Liberal member who made reference to it in his comments, Madam Speaker, a Liberal member who's actually put notice on for the committee to actually hear from the former minister. And he seems to see that as a bad thing. At the end of the day, Madam Speaker, I believe that we will see through the independent office of the Commissioner and allow the Standing Committee to do its work. We will see a positive outcome for the government and the Prime Minister. I believe that the Prime Minister did not assert any sort of pressure in regards to this particular issue. And my question is why the loss of faith in the Commissioner's office, Ethics Commissioner's office, and does he not have any faith in the Conservative members of the committee?
The Honourable Member for Oxford.
Well, Madam Speaker, there's so many issues that the member opposite raised. He is right. One of their members today sent out a tweet that she was going to bring forward this motion to allow the Attorney General to come to committee. Last week, that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't do that. The other part about that, interestingly, it's going to be at an in-camera meeting today. Nobody's going to know what happened, whether she is allowed to speak or she isn't allowed to speak. And whether or not I have faith in the Ethics Commissioner, there's no question I have faith in the Ethics Commissioner. I'm not sure that what the Ethics Commissioner does will make Canadians feel any better, because so much of what the Ethics Commissioner will do will be also behind closed doors. But I'll tell you who I have faith in. I have faith in the RCMP and other police agencies that if there's criminal activity here, that they get involved and investigate the criminal activity so that Canadians know exactly what happened.
Séance de commentaires, l'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
Oui, merci, Madame la Présidente. Je remercie mon collègue pour son discours et son appui pour notre motion. En fait, il y a quelque chose de très intéressant, et je parle surtout comme député du Québec, c'est qu'on parle des emplois. Et ce que je veux dénoncer, parce qu'on semble vouloir dire que le premier ministre, de son allégé comportement, était bien parce qu'on va défendre les emplois. Mais Madame la Présidente, on est tous d'accord qu'on veut protéger les emplois, que s'il y a une entreprise qui peut être considérée un fleuron du Canada ou du Québec, on veut les défendre. Mais ce qu'on dénonce ici, avant tout, il y a eu évidemment des gestes de corruption qui ont été entrepris par une entreprise, mais il y a aussi un premier ministre qui maintenant va utiliser des travailleurs pour justifier un comportement inacceptable dans une société fondée sur des règles de justice et de droit. Je m'explique, Madame la Présidente, pourquoi les libéraux ont-ils changé la loi pour permettre à Air Canada de ne plus respecter ses engagements de la loi pour les emplois à AVS, par exemple? Pourquoi ils ont décidé de forcer le retour au travail de travailleurs chez Post Canada qui voulaient simplement l'équité salariale et un système de pension qui n'est pas à deux vitesses? Pourquoi ils n'ont pas accepté la proposition du NPD pour mettre à jour la loi sur la faillite pour protéger les personnes retraitées qui ont travaillé chez chez Sears, ou par exemple même ceux, comme dans le passé, qui ont travaillé chez Nortel, les Nortel de ce monde. Madame la Présidente, ce qu'on voit, c'est un pattern, si vous me permettez le mot anglais, d'un premier ministre qui est là pour les entreprises et pas pour les travailleurs. Donc, ce que je veux savoir de mon collègue, c'est pourquoi tout d'un coup, il devient important d'aider ses amis. Pourquoi on ne peut pas simplement se lever et dire qu'on a agi de façon inacceptable? Pourquoi ne pas mettre la lumière sur cette controverse?
The honourable member for Oxford.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank my colleague for his input. I think he's absolutely right. There's so much in this whole picture that gets blurred when they try to defend themselves, not trying to defend SNC-Lavalin, but trying to defend themselves. They bring up the issue of jobs. Well, Madam Speaker, I can tell you there's people right out in front of this building that are here fighting for 100,000 jobs in Western provinces. We're also fighting for those jobs, and we're fighting for the SNC-Lavalin job. These are good people. These are engineers, others with SNC-Lavalin. It's not their fault that they're in this position, but we shouldn't throw them into the equation or throw them under the bus, as the Prime Minister has done with the former Attorney General. We respect the SNC-Lavalin people. We know they're good people, and they don't all work in Quebec. Many of them work in Ontario and other provinces.